So my first tip is to change this horrible purple. I just really don't like it. It hurts my eyes. So all you do, go up to the little FM here, preferences. Opens up all the preferences in your game. You can change lots of stuff in here. Language, whether you want to go by pounds or anything else. But if you scroll down to skin, Football Manager it says here, click on this, and light just makes it all white, and again that really hurts my eyes. But if you just click on the dark one, I find this a lot easier to work with. That's my tip number 1, change your skin. My tip number 2 is to do with shortlists. We all love scouting players. You go through, add them to shortlist, and you just end up with a massive list of players. Some people, if they're organised, separate that out as they're doing it into different shortlists. But a quick and simple way to separate these players up once you go into your shortlist is to just click on this button here that says position. If you click on that, they all can be separated into their different positions and roles that they play. So if I'd like a left midfielder, I can select on that, and it brings up all of the left wingers in my shortlist. And again, you can do the same sort of searches on there through age, value, attributes if you want to change it, obviously in here. But yeah, this little button here, go from list to position, can make it a lot easier to sort through those players without having different shortlists for each category. Another tip to help you find some quality players in your scouting and player search is just, if you need to change this view, you go to custom view, and you need to add a view here. And if you scroll all the way down to media description, click on that, click on add, and then you can realign that just by right clicking on this section up here, and you just click on auto size all columns, and that brings this media description Wonder Kid section into your shortlists and into your player searches. So if I click on this now, I can scroll down here and find, it might take you a bit of time because there's a lot of players. It's not in alphabetical order, which is very annoying. Usually they're before this. Promising. Before the promising. Promising. Wonder Kids. Here you go. Without even looking and searching, I can see who are the Wonder Kids in the game at the moment, how much they cost, what their values are. My scouts obviously rate a few of them and they would come up, but a few of them here, they're not known by my scouts at the moment. So it's a great way. And Renier, he's on loan. I wouldn't have necessarily found him straight away, but look at that. That's a great little tip. Media description, so important in the game. You can also use it to go for, promising, or even it says elite and world class and things like that. And it's a real good way of just seeing what sort of standard these players are at before you have to click on them and go through them. Yeah, get your media description on your search list. Another tip regarding transfers, it's always good to try and nab someone with a minimum fee release clause, and you can actually search for that unbelievably. You just go into additional conditions, click on that, go into contract, release clause, minimum fee release clause, and you can obviously select different ones, but this one just includes all of them. So you click on that, you set the minimum fee release clause. Let's say I set it at 20 million. I pick a value now. So these are all the players with 20 million release clause. There's actually only one. Timothy Castagni, he's actually worth more than 20 million. We go into his contract. He's got a minimum fee release clause of 16.25. Good way to get players that do cost money for obviously a bit cheaper. So let's check out another one. But what we can do is you actually put this maybe down to 5, and then it gives you more players, a couple more players that you can actually get for less than their value, Good little trick. Espazina, It's valued at 4.4. We go into it. He's got a minimum fee release of 4.7. We wouldn't have necessarily known that. It's a good way to get some players on the radar that are good, and you know that you've got an opportunity. The club has to accept it. So yeah, it's a great little trick. 3.2 million for him. So 3.8. You see, good little trick. Yeah, check the minimum fee release clause when you're searching for players. So this tip again is to do with trying to sign players and just trying to identify the better class of players. Perhaps more helpful if you're a lower club, as it involves free transfers and perhaps people on, you know, contracts that are expiring. But we're going to do people that are on a free at the moment, and you just click OK on that. Brings up all the players, and what you do, I like to change it to international, just to give me an idea. Or you can even add this into a search bar. But then you click on caps, and it brings up all of the internationals that these players have had. And okay, they're for clubs like Jordan and players like that. But you know, he's 33. They're going to be older players. He could come in and do a job. They're not going to cost much money. Other ones, this geezer is on an amateur contract from Liechtenstein. 33 years old again, not going to cost you anything, but could come in for a second division club, maybe something like that, and do a job for a year for nothing. Let's have a look who else is on here. A Venezuelan. You know, if you want to change this, you can even change this to players that aren't that 30 to 33 years old. Change it to a maximum of 30. We've got someone from Iraq here. Great leadership. Good little way of spotting those star players for these perhaps unknown nations that don't necessarily cost a lot of money. You know, look, Iranian, he's played 4 caps. He can come in and do a job. Great little way of finding good, experienced players for sort of obscure nations. They might struggle to get work permits, you know, Papua New Guinea, but he's got some good stats that could help you. It's a great little tip. Search by international caps for lesser known players, I should say, that are still quality for their respective countries and can definitely come in and do a job. Don't cost much money. It's a great little tip.